Welcome back to Meiburg's garage. We're getting this stock exhaust out of my Miata, whipping it out of here and putting in a nice new ISR catback exhaust. It's gonna make this thing sound really loud, and my neighbors might hate me, but this thing's gonna sound really good. If you know me, you know I've ran this exhaust before. I had to take it off. I had to get the car smog, but now we're putting it back on. We're gonna show you guys how to put an exhaust on a Miata. It's really simple. The only tools you need is a set of sockets. We have an impact to make things a little easier. You need your exhaust. Some WD-40 helps getting the exhaust hangers out of the way. Same with the flathead screwdriver. You're gonna need a new exhaust gasket, and you can either use jacks and jack stands, or if your car is pretty low like me, you can use some ramps. Alright guys, now we're gonna do a little sound test of the stock exhaust. It's very quiet, but let's go do some pulls out on the road. Like some good cold revs. This exhaust, you can comfortably talk to the person next to you. How you doing, David?
I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah. Turn around right here. Alright guys, as you can tell, exhaust is pretty quiet.
Almost as quiet as a Tesla.
Bada bop boom pow.
Let's get this stock exhaust off and get the good one on. Now grab a wheel chock or a piece of wood, whatever you have available to you. Let's chalk up a front wheel just to make sure. Always make sure your parking brake's on too. Alright guys, so there's this big bracket under here that helps keep your car stable. We got to get it out of the way. It's a 17 millimeter. There's 6 bolts you got to take out. Got it out. Alright guys, now that we got that brace out, now it's time to unbolt the exhaust from the cat. And then we gotta use the screwdriver to get those rubber hangers off, and we'll pull it right out. Alright guys, so these bolts are gonna be 17 millimeter. You gotta take off the nuts on each side. The bolts are studs coming out of the cat, so you don't need to worry about those. Let's take off these bolts and we'll get these rubber hangers out of the way. I'd leave these on just so it catches the exhaust when you take the bolts out. Alright guys, we got those nuts off of there. Now it's time to get all the rubber hangers off. We're going to use the flathead and some WD-40 to help us get those things off, because sometimes they can be a pain. There's 4 hangers for the exhaust. There's 2 on the rear passenger side of the muffler. There's 1 on the driver's side of the muffler, and there's 1 up by the cap. So if you spray a little WD-40 around it, it helps that rubber grommet come right off. Get your flathead, go in from the back, and it comes right off. Easy as that. Sometimes they're not that easy. So again, just get your flathead, stick it behind there, lever it around the outside. There we go. One more. Alright, we got that down. Now we gotta support this thing and pull it out the back. Okay, you got it?
Yep.
Start going back. Alright guys, so here we have the stock exhaust versus the ISR exhaust. As you can see, much bigger outlet. This is a 4-inch outlet. It's a 2.5 all the way to the muffler, and then a 4-inch back. This one was a 2-inch all the way, so it's gonna sound a lot better. When you get yours in the mail, it's gonna be a lot shinier than this. I've ran this for about 2 years now. That's why it's a little faded, but still sounds very good. So when you get your exhaust, you're gonna have to bolt these 2 pieces together, the mid pipe and the muffler. Never use nylocks with exhaust. I did, but you're not supposed to. So plastic can melt and then it doesn't hold tight, but luckily mine has, so I'm not gonna mess with it, because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Also, you're gonna take your new exhaust gasket, put it on the end of the cat, because there's studs so it'll stay there, and then slide this on. When you get your new exhaust, make sure you tighten a plug in the O2 sensor spot, because this year Miata doesn't use an O2 sensor after the cat because it's OBD1, not OBD2. Make sure you crank that real tight, because the first time I put this on, I forgot to crank it down tight, took it out for a test drive, and bam! Shot up into the tunnel of the transmission and scared me half to death. And I got out of the car, tried to find it, couldn't find it, so I had to drive to O'Reilly's with an exhaust leak, fuming up into the cabin of the car. Smelled great. Had to buy a plug and plug it back up. But yeah, always make sure that's tight, because you don't want that flying off while you're going down the road. Let's get this thing back on under the car. Alright, lift up. There we go. So right now we're putting the rubber hangers back on before I put the bolts on, so we don't have to sit here holding it the entire time. There we go. Rubber hangers are on. Let's get the bolts tightened up under the cat. Alright guys, so now we got our new gasket in here. Got the exhaust on, the rubber hangers are on. Now we're gonna put the bolts and the nuts on. It's always nice to sweep under where you're gonna work before you work. Or lay some cardboard down or something. Alright guys, make sure those are good and tight. Let's get that U-brace back on, and then we'll start it and show you guys what it sounds like. Alright guys, now we're putting this U-brace back on under the car is up like that. 6 bolts, 17 millimeter. Show you guys how to do this with one person. Change this exhaust multiple times just on my own. Get 1 foot under it. Open it. Start 1 bolt. Get it hand tight. And it's up there. Now you just gotta get the other 5 bolts in. Alright, let's crank these down. Alright, let's get this car off the ramps and we'll give you guys a start. Alright guys, we got the new exhaust on. I'm going to start it, show you guys how it sounds. We'll get that decibel meter back out. Then I'm going to crawl under, check for any exhaust leaks, and we'll get off the ramps and give you guys a sound test down the road.
Have to yell to talk now.
Hope you're impressed with how the ISR exhaust sounds. It's pretty loud.
It's a little bit louder than a Tesla now, just a little bit.
If you do get this exhaust, just letting you know, on the freeway, if you're going 80 at like 4,000 RPM in this thing, it can hurt your ears after a while, but kick through it, you'll get to your destination eventually. We'll put the link in the description below for this exhaust. When I bought it, it was about $400. So pretty good on price for the sound you get. Hope you guys liked the video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe.
Check in next time for wiring on the Go-Kart.
Perfecto mundo.